everybody. Welcome to the Back and Forth TV podcast, where the mission at Back and Forth TV is to bring knowledge, information, resources to really inspire, enlighten, and help young and men and women in the community transform their lives. Listen, I'm not redoing that.
That was fine.
It's your girl TK. So welcome this morning. I have my friend Kevin with me, Mr. Kevin Daniels. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and then I got my hype man in the background, Mr. Kevin Davis. So I got Kevin and Kevin this morning.
Hey.
And I was supposed to have Miss Sade McGrew here, but she was not feeling well. So we'll just catch her another time. We'll make it happen. So really quick introduction for Mr. Daniels. He was actually born in, is it Wiesbaden?
Wiesbaden. Yes.
Wiesbaden? Oh my goodness. Germany. And that was mainly because he was a military brat. So you had parents that were in the military. So he's been married for 9 months to Miss Marissa Daniels. You guys are so cute on Facebook.
I appreciate that.
Y'all are so cute.
That's not me at all.
All her, huh?
All her.
All right. So newlyweds here. Kevin is currently a worship leader at Pulpit Rock Church. And he's been there for the past 8 years. And he currently also serves as a worship pastor for Cause I Love You, which is a gospel movement committed to serving the city of Colorado Springs.
Yes. So COS, Cause I Love You. It's like the abbreviation, play on words. You know, COS is like Colorado Springs. So it's just geared toward.
That makes sense. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for coming.
Oh, yes.
Just so you guys know, mimosas is like the new thing for the show because I shoot early in the morning. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing now. It's kind of the thing. So before we get started into our topic today, which is chapter 30, I have a question for you.
Let's hear it.
Living single or Martin, and why?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna go Martin. I'm gonna go with Martin. The reason why I'm gonna go Martin is because first and foremost, just the dynamic between him and Gina is everything. Is everything. Living single is legit, but Martin, and it's more funny. It's funnier.
It's hilarious. I think Martin has more seasons too to watch because I think Living Single, they only went for 5 seasons before they were off the air. But I don't know. I love Living Single. I could probably quote almost every episode because I've watched it religiously.
I think on Martin, I was waiting every moment for Bruh Man to come down
from the
flow. Yeah. I'm waiting on Bruh Man. I'm like, is that him? Or every time Martin walked in, I'm thinking Bruh Man's in the kitchen. He's got to be.
Yeah. I think what I liked about Living Single though is that the whole show wasn't focused on like, you know, one or two people. It was like over the entire group of friends.
That's true.
And I kind of like, I could see myself in each of the women that were on the show.
I can dig that.
But with Martin, it's kind of like it's focused on Martin and Gina and then the rest of the cast, you know. But it is a lot funnier to watch.
It is. Sure. I agree to that point. Living Single just had it had an amazing cast, first and foremost. But then just to see life through each of them, like they actually focused on each and every person at some point in time. So you got I can dig that.
Yeah. So I wish they would have gone longer than 5 seasons, though. I wish they would come back, but they're all too old now.
They are too old.
Have you seen Kyle?
Ooh, I haven't, but I don't want to imagine that though. Like, I mean, he
still looks good, but he's old. You know, he has changed. Yeah, he's changed.
You know, I mean, I don't think they should come back. I think they should just recast everybody with us.
I know.
I could definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be Living Single, but I mean, I can act though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which character I would be. I don't know, because I feel like I'm a little of each of the girls. I have like a hood side of me, but I also have a really bougie side at the same time. Then I got that smart, witty side, and then I'm really goofy. I don't really know which one I would be. What do you think, Kevin? Really? Everybody thinks I'm so bougie.
Kim feels legit.
I mean, she's not actually bougie. She's like all of those. Like, she's goofy.
Yeah.
She lives in Denver, too.
But on the show, though, she was like the bougie character. Does she really live in Denver?
She goes to Heritage.
Oh, I need to go meet her. Oh, I need to have her on the show when I get a little bigger. Oh, I'll
What you
reach out.
mean? Don't despise small beginnings. Get her now.
You know, I'm trying to make sure I got my stuff
That's
together.
fair
You know
enough.
what
I
I'm
mean, I think
saying?
it's legit though. I mean, for
Yeah.
all the viewers, this place is nice.
Yes. It is nice. It's not just some rundown
It ain't in nobody's
mess I
basement,
got in my
right? And it's
garage.
and it ain't nobody's basement.
I was gonna do it at my house though, and then my friend, his name is Darren, he was like, so, and he works out in Hollywood, and so he was like, we need to talk about this. He was like, you can't do this.
Oh man,
No,
yeah, this ain't gonna
Mm-mm.
work.
This is unprofessional. He hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's okay. Anyway, to the topic at hand, chapter 30. I think so many people just freak out about turning 30, you know?
We do.
And
We
I
do.
don't, and I was really one of those people like, oh, I got to get this done. I have so many things to do before I turn 30.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you know, I think a lot of young people think that, you know, when they get grown, they have so much time. I feel like I graduated high school and I blinked and I was 30. Like it was here.
That's true.
So I don't know. You're 28 years old. You're on your
Yeah,
way.
I'm on my way. So chapter 30 is like right around the corner. It's a nice little, rock skip away. But I will say, I mean, it is true. Like life really like happens.
Mm-hmm.
And truth be told, I had no aspirations with 30. Like I had no goals, no nothing. I was like, listen, I'm just gonna enjoy life and do what I do, and whatever happens, happens. But I think just that evaluating stage, because I think
Mm-hmm.
when people get ready to get 30, they start thinking, okay, so what have I accomplished in life, and what should I already have? They try to measure themselves up to what other people think should be happening by 30. So
Mm-hmm.
marriage, kids, great job, at least 3 or 4 years in your career,
Mm-hmm.
money saved up, a house that you either started to purchase, so like all that stuff. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm done with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do just what makes me happy right now
Mm-hmm.
and focus on the positive. And I can't worry about what other people's expectations of my life should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because truth be told, when I look at it, I'd be like, I mean, you didn't get yours till you was 60. What you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or 40, so it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I just think it's so interesting how you mentioned like how you feel like you have to have all these things done. And I don't know. I remember like graduating high school and I just felt this immense amount of pressure to make things for my life happen. Because my parents, like they met each other and got married, I think, when they were like 19.
Wow.
Right. And they had me when they were 25. So they were really making things happen, in their lives. And so here I am. I don't even think I had a real boyfriend by the time. I had never dated before because, I was a church baby. We didn't do all that. My parents wouldn't finna let that happen.
Listen.
So it's like, okay, I go from this really sheltered lifestyle because my parents shielded me from a lot. Like, we wouldn't finna be doing no sleepovers. Like, y'all know how Black parents be. We ain't doing no sleepovers. Oh, you finna go where? Okay, I need to know their parents. Are they saved? Do they know the Lord?
Do they speak in tongues?
Yeah, and then on top of that, the answer still might even be no.
Sure enough,
So
it
I
is.
came from like this really sheltered lifestyle to now I have to get out in the world and make
Right.
it, right? So I felt an immense amount of pressure, not just from my parents, but just like people, like other adults, like in my church. Oh, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do with your life? You're going to
Yeah.
college, right?
That's what everybody. Oh man.
Man, and I felt
Pressure.
so much pressure to get out there and make it happen. And honestly, so I'll share this story. I actually had a full ride scholarship to go to school.
Hey.
Don't know how I pulled that off. I was very smart, but I hated doing homework. Like, dang, like nigga, you got me in school for 8 hours and you want me to go home
And
and
do
do
another
more
4?
homework?
You
Like grown
bugging.
adults don't even do this after 8 hours. They don't have
Listen.
homework to do after work.
Look,
Are y'all crazy?
I never did it. I never did it. So
But I think I got a little bit more serious in high school, and I managed to still get a full ride scholarship. And there was so much pressure to like just jump into college. No clue what I wanted to do. My last year of high school, I got involved in this group called DECA,
okay, yeah.
and I loved it. And I'm like, I'm good at this. I'll just go to school for marketing. no clue like what that really meant and what that really entailed, right? Um, so I got in, and one thing about me, and this is just something I know about myself, if I'm not passionate about it, I ain't finna be doing it.
That's true.
I don't care how much you talk to me or
Same
pump and
way.
pride me. I am a Taurus to the T. I'm gonna do what I want to do when I feel like doing it. And
Yep.
so when I'm not passionate about something, I just don't do well. And that's just basically what happened because I rushed into school so fast because I felt this pressure.
Yeah, to go and be successful. That's what everybody think when you graduate. Oh, you about to be big now.
And that's another thing is people's definition of success. But go ahead.
Yeah. So same situation. After high school, everybody was like, oh man, Kevin's about to be the next. Music was like, everybody just thought, man, he's about to blow up. And I didn't have that goal at all. I was really thinking about how far can I get away from my parents so I can just do whatever I want to do.
Right.
So my family's in Colorado Springs. I was like, Kentucky, let's go. So I went to Western Kentucky, and I don't think I talked to my parents like the first 3 months of being at school. They were texting and calling, and I just wasn't answering. And they were
I
like,
ain't got time for this.
is he alive? But they would see me post, on Facebook and stuff. So, but I think I was very rebellious. I just figured, my dad's a pastor. Everybody's expecting that, and I'm just going to do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the opposite because I don't want them to tie me to or associate me with any of that. And so I did that. But I think, looking back on it now, I wish I would have taken it more serious, but I'm glad I kind of went about it the way I did because God had to really, I had to like come to my moment where, okay, you're gonna have to do something. Like this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing you're doing is working. There's nothing's coming out of it. Nothing positive's coming out of it. Like you got to do something. So
Right.
I had to come to that realization. And when I did, I'm thankful I did. And I still got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like going back to the college story. So I ended up, I don't know what it is about me, but no matter what, I know how to go make money.
Hey,
Like I know how to go get
Hustle.
a bag. Like I will hustle. I don't care what we got to do.
the grind.
So I was actually working and going to school. I did work study in school, and then eventually, like I just wasn't doing well in school, and so I ended up like not keeping my scholarship, unfortunately. So then I was like working and paying for school, and I ended up getting this really, really good job at Time Warner Cable, working there. And this really goes back to the other episode that we did last week. It's just about like knowing what your purpose is. Like I really wish had I not been so pressured and letting other people's definition of success affect me so much,
Right.
I probably would have been in a completely different arena.
I agree.
Honestly, I probably would have took a year off before I even went to school because I jumped right from high school into college. And then too, mind you, I lived this really like controlled, sheltered life. So when I got out,
You was like, hey.
okay, Monday, Tuesday,
I was
Wednesday, Thursday,
listening. I
Friday.
was the same thing. Look, and like I said, military brat, grew up overseas, came here to Colorado. Listen, my dad said, you don't know what black women are. I was like, what? Go off to school, son. You'll see. Man, I'm walking around. I'm like, this is a whole nother world. Who am I about to be this week? And I mean, because don't nobody know you. So
Right.
it opened my eyes to just like a whole nother, man, like I'm free. I ain't got nobody to tell me to go home, do my homework, to get up in the morning. So it was on me. And I took advantage of all of that freedom that I had. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to class today, bro. Talking to my roommate. Yeah, we should go out. Like we should probably like I think we should go out. It's Tuesday. Like we should find something to get into. It was, I was sheltered. I was sheltered in the sense of my parents, they kept pushing, hey, you shouldn't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. And they gave me my fair share of freedom to, hey, go out and make a decision. We trust you. But when I got to college and I played college football. So I'm hanging out with fellas that was from, South Florida, Miami. I mean, they knew what partying was. I didn't know what that stuff was. I was like, yeah, and I mean, Kev, come on, man. Come on. The kid from Germany, that's what they call me. Hey, yo, Germany, come on. And I'm just like, all right, I'm coming. We're gonna see what this is. And those decisions, I mean, they were good. I mean, no lie. I had a blast, but definitely not the path that I thought I would be on. And not knowing purpose really, really played into that because had I knew what purpose was or knew what my calling was, some form of life, I probably would have waited like 2 or 3 years to go to college. Um, but hey, all things happen for a reason. I did it.
Yeah,
Got the
they
t-shirt to
definitely
prove it.
do. Like, so I wasn't going to school. Like, I think I was going to school like part-time or something and then like trying to work. And I got this really, really good job at Time Warner Cable. And I did well. Like, if you really know me, like I can sell anything. Like anything. So I was promoted to like a leadership position. And I'm like 20, 21 years old
Hey.
at this time. Making really good money, right? Which brings me some of the first lessons I learned. Like, I think because I didn't have the background or the experience of working in such a political environment, there are some things that really got the best of me, like for sure. Because for one, I don't take mess off of nobody, especially when I was younger. I was very hot-headed. And what was I trying to say? So yeah, there was a lot of things that were coming at me. And then two people were really jealous because there was people that had been working there like 10, 15 years that could not get this promotion. And here I come swooping in like barely there 6 months and I took
Already
all
moving
this.
up,
So
right.
there was a lot that I had to deal with at that age.
Right.
So, which brings me to the very second lesson. So the first one was taking control of my own life, like, and not letting things like dictate
Right.
how my life is going to go or let other people's definitions of success, manage what I do. Second lesson was finances for me.
Yes.
Oh my God. So, anybody who knows me, I like nice things. And I'd rather not get something and just save up and wait till I can buy
Right.
that nice thing. So I was shop all the time. I think I had at one point like over 150 pairs of shoes. Like it was out of control. I had a lot of shoes. I had a lot of clothes. And I also had gotten my first apartment during that time, like a really nice 2-bedroom apartment, my first apartment. And, like for me too, like roommates and stuff, that was just never my thing.
No.
I hated it. I'd rather go live with my parents than live with someone else.
I wouldn't need, not even that.
Yeah. So anyway, first big lesson I learned was finances. So I ended up losing my job behind some political stuff that had happened at the office. So there was this girl, she stayed with me like for a little bit, and she was supposed to like pay her half. Well, I didn't have it. I didn't have nothing in the bank because I had spent it.
Shopping. Those 150 pairs of shoes.
It was in those shoes.
It was in the closet though. You had it. It was just in the closet on the floor.
It was in those shoes. And so I spent it all. And so that was my first lesson on finances. I ended up, luckily for me, it wasn't an eviction, but I had to move back in. And I think this was kind of like a turning point too for me and my parents' relationship. Not so much my dad, but I don't know what happens with Black moms, but when their daughters get grown, I don't know what it is. It's just, it becomes this I'm the queen of this castle type situation. So for a while, I think from the time that I turned 17 up to this point, I had to be like 22, I think. We just weren't getting along.
Just who do you think you are?
Yeah, and she was really upset that all of this had happened. So it was just a lot going on. So that was my first real lesson about finances.
You know, when I went through a similar situation, mine was, in college you get that residual. Get that residual. And that right there is like, it's not your money. And I had to learn that the hard way. So, I get a deposit for like $3,500 in the bank and I'm like, hey, let's go. So I think I probably went and bought like 5 or 6 polo outfits. Talking shoes, shorts, hat, shirt. And I mean solid color outfits. I'm walking around in all yellow. Boom. I was a hot mess. Like I would never do that today, but I'm out there and that residual's gone and, you know, rent is due. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm on scholarship, so they're taking care of that stuff. And yes, they were, but that's what the residual was for.
Oh no.
And so, you know, I made some poor decisions, and even after college, you know, the first thing I went and did was bought a car. I was like, I'm about to go get me a nice car. I got a Dodge Charger, 2014. Brand new, spanking fresh off the lot, had no job at the time. I just had some money saved up.
Right.
And people were like, okay, so what are you gonna do? So I got this little job working in security, and I moved back home after school. Got my degree in music education. And by the way, don't ever do that. Music teachers no.
They don't make a lot, huh?
No, not at all. And so I'm thinking, I'm about, you know, music teacher, kids about to love this. So I got a job working security, got a brand new car. And my check, every week I got a check, and I was literally just storing it right back into the car. So, you know, I had to learn, you know, wise, you know, necessary risk, wise, like the right kind of risk. Not everything is a risk, everything has consequences, but what are the right risks to take financially? So, yeah, you can have that Charger when you can afford it. Like when your down payment is more than $1,500, like if you, that's what you
like living within your means. I think that
I didn't know
just
that.
what was portrayed on TV and just what you see, you know, on social media or whatever. I think it just fools a lot of these young people into thinking that, oh, I'm grown now. This is what my life is going to be like.
It does. That, and I mean, even the idea of, when I say for a man, my mom, she used to say it, and I thought she was like, oh, whatever, mom, ain't nobody listening to that. She was like, who do you think you are? You take every little girl out here for lunch whenever you can. Like, who do you think you are? What is that? And I had to really learn, like, I mean, I got it though, ma. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, and she's like, no, that's dumb. Like, that's dumb. You know, like, what do you gain from that? Like a quick hour and a half lunch date, you know what I mean? And I had to really learn, like, dang, you're right. And then even on the weekends, you think you buying a bar is getting you some attention. No, it's leaving you broke. And you know, just those, and that's what the world portrays. Like, hey, you got to be the loud one, the one that's in the center stage, the one that's buying the drinks, the one that's offering, the one that's no. And my mom had to learn. Listen, sometimes it's okay to say you ain't got it, and it'll show you who your friends are. So like now, what I know now in this life is, when I don't have it, the friends that I've surrounded myself with, the people that I trust, should be the ones to be like, yo, I got you. This one I got, because you know we boys. So I'd say on top of finances, it's like friendships and relationships is a lesson I had to learn, because the same people that I was kicking it when I was in my younger 20s, 22, 21, I'm not hanging out with right now. I'm hanging out with people who are like living for the next year, like living for what's next, not for the moment, because that's literally, that moment's gone, but they're living for what's next. And I you know, that's a lesson I had to learn.
That's an interesting point you made, because, you know, I was making so much money at such a young age. And so the friends that I was hanging around with at the time, like, I was just the person. Like, if they didn't have it, like, well, TK got it, but nobody had TK.
Nobody.
Like, who had me?
They look at you like, what you mean you?
Yeah.
What do you mean you ain't got it?
And then when I had to move out of my apartment, the girl was like upset at me. I'm like, you're in my house. I'm paying for all this. You're mad at me because, you know, so it's just interesting, I think, how our views on friendships and relationships change as we get older. Because
it has to.
Yeah, it does. I vividly remember this, like around, and I talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but around the age of 26, it's when things like really drastically changed in my life. Like when I really took control, and I'm like, you know what? This is what I want for my life. And there's things that have to change.
Right.
And like, whether I wanted it to change or not, God was making that thing happen. Like there
Mm-hmm.
were some things that happened with this group of friends. And you talk about, because I think people associate heartbreak with relationships,
Oh no.
but friendships, I even feel like is even worse when there's
Yeah.
broken friendships. And there was something that happened with this group of friends. And I mean, that stuff hurt me to the core. Like I was legit heartbroken.
Wow.
Um, behind it, but it needed to happen because to your point, like now I'm at a point where I have a smaller circle of friends, but these are people that I can truly,
Mm-hmm.
truly trust.
Yes.
And like you said, if I ain't got it, which most times these days, I mean, I got my coins together now, my
Right.
finances, but
But if
like
you don't,
I know
you know,
for a fact
yeah.
that they got it and they're not going to judge me for
Exactly.
it, you know?
Exactly. I was telling somebody the other day that, you know, you should have two kinds of friends around you. And truth be told, you want them to be the same type of individual. Friends that you can trust, and then friends that will support you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've got friends that I trust, like, hey, bro, this is what's going on. And then there's some people I can talk to and open up about myself, but I'm not trusting in the sense that they won't go tell anybody else, but just trusting with the information, because some people will look at you different. They may love you, support you and everything, but when you tell them something that's intimate and deep,
Mm-hmm.
they may begin to look at you different because that's just something that, you know, they're not used to, or there's something that they look at you completely different. And so you need to have friends around you that support you, one. So whenever I say, hey, I'm about to do this, they're like, let's go, Kev, let's go, in my corner. And then people that I can trust, like, hey, with the deep, you know, sensitive, and, you know, just heartfelt things in my life that's going on. Because I mean, that's what you need in life. You want trust and support. You know, money is whatever, that comes and goes. You know, hanging out comes and goes. But if you really, really have some people that trust you and you can trust, and they support you and you support them, man, that is invaluable. Like that's gold. That's gold.
And I think it's important, you know, for you listeners that are young, young listeners, just know, like, when you're young and you're coming out of high school, like, these people that you know, they're not going to always be there. I can't even think of one person. Well, no, there is one person. That's my friend Darren, who told me that I don't need to be doing this podcast out of my house. But
Trust and support right there. Listen, trust and
but other than that, like, there's not one person
right.
who I still talk to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you'll find is, for one, when you're trying to elevate, like, not everyone is on what you're trying to be
exactly.
on. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Some people are going to be very, very jealous. Like, they'll smile in your face, but at the whole time they're jealous of you and they're
Right.
plotting to figure out how they can stop that from happening.
Right.
Right. So there's that. There's just so many things that encompass like that you'll see change. So what I would say is, don't put so much value and emphasis on the friendships you have now, because
Right.
as you go to these different levels and stages in your life, you know, for you to elevate, the people in your life are going to have to continuously change.
Right.
Right.
I tell people, you're going to change. So it wasn't that my friends, that they weren't good people. It was that I changed. It's like, as soon as experiences brings about change in our life. We are a lump sum of what we go through and the experiences we have. So me leaving Colorado, and I had some great friends here. When I got to school, all that changed because I met new people. I went through new experiences. And then when I came home, they're like, oh, Kevin, you changed. And I was like, yeah, I did.
That's supposed to happen.
Like,
if you don't change, something's
yeah,
wrong.
and so
if you're not growing.
And it wasn't, and I would look at it like, I did change. You didn't. And that's probably the problem here, because I changed in a good way. You know, you didn't. And so I would say, yeah, you know, evaluate those friendships. But even before then, you got to know who you want to be, the type of person you're going to be, because sometimes people change for worse. Sometimes people change for the better. And if you don't know who you are, like, you'll get sucked into some stuff, and some people who you left behind will elevate beyond you, you know? And so definitely, I agree. You know, take really, really big look at who you are, who the people you surround yourself are. And like, check those boxes. I got people who I trust, that trust me. I have people that I support and who support me. I have people who, if things were all bad, they would still be in my corner.
Right.
You know, like, you need to know that for a fact. If you don't, and you have any doubts, maybe I can, you know, just Start to create some healthy separation.
And the thing is you have to be okay
Right.
with letting people go and letting people move on. It doesn't mean that there has to be this hostility, there has to be beef between you guys, right?
Right.
But sometimes you just have to move on. You have to be okay with that and willing to let go for the sake of, not just them, because in a way, like when you think about it, like if you're not helping each other build, you're helping to tear each other down.
Right.
So you're not helping them grow if you continue to be in their life and to drag them along with you. They're not growing and you're not growing either. So I think that's one thing that's important to remember. I remember this is actually kind of recent. There's this young lady that I met. This is probably around the age of 24. I met her, and so we had been friends, and then we fell out hard over some stuff. Then we made up like several months later, and then I'm the type of person like, if I have to be confrontational with you, I will. But if I don't have to, I'll just ghost you. I'm a professional ghoster.
Hey, that cutoff game is strong.
It is. Like, I will... rest in peace. I gotta go,
That's
girl.
a great trait, though. No lie.
Yeah.
That's a great trait to have.
But not always, because sometimes people need closure, But anyway, I kind of let her back in. And so we started hanging out around. But then I realized, like, there's certain activities that certain things and characteristics about her that never change. Mind you, this person is like 5 years older than me, I think.
Wow.
So there were things and activities that she was engaging in that I'm like, you know what? I'm a saved woman now.
Right.
I cannot do this stuff anymore. And there are things that I want for my life and my career. I can't have this attached to me. And so I had to be okay with it. And I actually was by this time, because I think this was like 29. I was like, okay with it.
Cool,
and that's something that comes along with time too.
And just
You
wisdom.
get more comfortable.
Wisdom. When you know who you are, you'll be cautious of allowing certain people into your space, into your environment, because first, for me, I'm not gonna let nobody jeopardize my peace, my sanity. I mean, that's on everything. Like, there's nothing in the world that I would let jeopardize my peace. If I'm not at peace with whatever's going on, I'm gonna dip. I've got to go. And so when you know who you are, okay, even before coming here, I was like, all right, listen, I know who I am. I'm going to be myself, and I'm not going to let anything jeopardize my peace. When I go out with friends, same exact thing. When stuff starts to, this ain't right, fellas, I'll catch y'all later. Because I know just who I am, and I know, listen, there are certain things that I just can't be around. I can't be attached to, because of not necessarily where I am in life, but where I want to be in life. So like I said, thinking about every decision, every encounter is not for the moment. It's for what's about to take place in my future, and being okay with saying, yeah, no. And I'm okay. You may not be okay with it, but I'm okay with no.
Right.
I'm okay with no. No is a healthy word. So
Yeah, definitely. And I think you have to create your own definition of what friendship means for you.
Truth.
For me, one of my best friends, her name is Cynthia. And I met her a few years ago. And we're just an amazing pair of friends. Like, we're similar, but we're different at the same time. She has no problem telling me, TK, listen, you messing up.
Right. That's good.
You look a mess right now. I need you. I remember one day, because we actually worked together at the same firm, and I didn't have any makeup. She was like, TK, look at where we work. We work in an environment full of white men. I need you to be consistent with putting on makeup.
She said, we work.
So I was like, no, she didn't tell me that. But okay, I'll do that. And then vice versa. Like, I can tell her, if she's doing something that's wrong or whatever, I'm like, you didn't handle that right, boo.
Right.
We need to, so we can talk to each other like that. To me, that's my definition of friendship, where we can be completely open and honest with each other. I can trust you, but you also know what boundaries not to cross with me either, and vice versa.
I think mine is just being able to walk away in love. Like, my best friend Keys, he is, I love this guy because he's the only person, and I have a strong personality. So most people will not say anything to me because they know I'm going to rebuttal. I'm going to say something back.
Right.
we're not gonna send him to Kev because he's probably gonna snap, and I won't snap out of anger. I'm gonna snap because you ain't about to tell me about myself and me not tell you about yours. But my boy Keys, he has an approach about him. He's very, very the silent type, and so he'll be like, "Yo, Kev, bro, that was trash." Like he'll text me and be like, "Yo, man, I saw you.
That ain't the move.
Or like, bro, what are you doing?" I mean, about tons of stuff. I've been in relationships and he's been like, "She ain't the one." I mean, out the gate. I'd be like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to my best friend Keys." He will send me a text in the restaurant. She's not the one. And as much as I was offended when he did that, also, I was hot, but I appreciate it because, you don't get friends like that who are going to I'm going to be real with you because I know you and I want what's best for you. And so that's a really good thing. I appreciate that. Tell Cynthia she's a good friend.
Yeah, she is. And it's funny because she's so short compared to me. But, because, for my listeners, I'm 6 feet tall. And I like to wear heels too. And she's so short, but she's just this little ball of energy and she can keep up with me and it's amazing. But I think it's also important to realize too that your relationships will not just change with your friends. It's going to change with everybody.
Family.
Your family. Like I remember, so I'm the oldest of 4. And so the message that was always given to me is you're the oldest. You need to set an example. You need to do, the X, Y, and Z for your siblings. You need to watch out for them. And so I find, like, I don't know why, but for the longest time, I just kind of felt like their parent in a way. Like, I'm the mom. Like, you need to listen to what I say because I'm the oldest. And this is something that I think Kevin, didn't we mention this in the last episode where Stan was talking about how he was playing like a father to his sisters. And I was kind of doing the same thing for my siblings. Here you go. As well, where I was being the mom. And so I had to realize one day, because for a while, me and my sister, we just, I just wanted to fight her all the time. And I think she wanted to fight me. And I had to come to the realization one day, you're the sister. My job is to support and have their back. If they need something from me,
just be there.
Just be there. And like, I even got to the point now where I'm just like, okay, if my sister comes to me, she vents about something. Sometimes I realize she may not even really want to hear my opinion. Like, she don't really care to hear that.
Talk.
She just want to talk. And so I ask her, so
I know.
Do you want my opinion on this? Do you want my advice? Or, what do you want from me out of this? And I've done that for my brother too. Even my parents, and I think it's taken some growing for them too.
Right,
so we've kind of grown together because I'm their first child, right? I'm the child that they made all the mistakes with.
Guinea pig kid.
Yeah, I'm the guinea pig child. So I even think so my mom, like I said, we started to kind of drift apart probably around 17. And then right around the age of 25, I think, is when we got really, really close. And I really started to value everything that she said to me. And I think for my parents, they learned we can't, she's not a child anymore. I can't boss her around and expect her to listen. And then 2, me growing up, I was a hard-headed child. I think my mom told me the story one day of, I think I was 5 or something. And she said, well, I wasn't born yesterday, Kara. And I said, well, neither was I. And she was like, oh. So I've never been, the child that you're just going to control that way. And so I think she had to accept me for who I was, but also be comfortable with letting me make my own decisions, no matter how upset they would make her or sad. And I really appreciate her for doing that. And my dad too, I think.
I think parents, and I'm not a parent, but I think my mom and dad, they had to realize that, okay, I love him as a child, but I have to like him as an adult. I need to and now more than ever, not so much for me and my mom, because I'm a mama's boy. So me and my mom, we solid. I call my mom at least once a day, at minimum. At least we texting.
Right.
But I call her once a day just to annoy her. But me and my dad, I am my father's son. We are the same individual, just literally different life paths. We're the same individual. I mean, I notice traits in me that he has all the time. And so
Mm-hmm.
for a period of time, man, we just butted heads. I'm talking when it came to if I did anything, he'd be like, why would you do that? That's not the smartest decision. I'm like, yo, Pops. He's like, oh, well, that's wrong too.
And I was like, me and my mom.
Well, what you should do is this. And I mean talking about everything from buying a car, apartment. I remember when I told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm about to propose to my wife now. He's like, and like I almost lost him. And we in PF Chang's, and I'm like, you better say something good. You best to say you are
like this can go left really quick.
Listen, and up in this restaurant with all these white people, like so. I really, really, we butted heads for so long, but it came down to a point where we both had to grow as like I said, as individuals. He has always been, he will always be my father, but when I finally became a man on my own, and that truth didn't happen until like I was 23, where no matter what he said, the decision was on me. And that was for me to decide. Like, he can give me as much advice as he wants. This is my decision, and I'm going to deal with the consequences of it. And when we got to that age, and I'd say that was probably like a few years ago, where we had that, that movie talk where, every good father-son movie scene where the dad's like, son, I'm proud of you. We had that conversation, and it was more so on the sense of, I respect you because I see me in you, and he was just like, I see me in you. I see everything that I've done in my life, all the decisions I've made. I see you are doing them and thinking them the same way I did. And I'm proud of you because you've done well. And then I was like, well, I'm proud of you because you've done like you kind of let me do what I do.
Isn't it amazing when your parents tell you they're proud of you?
Man, I almost cried.
Oh, because my parents, listen, let me tell you about something about Terrell and Jesse. They they love us, but they ain't finna sit up here and lie either.
That's the truth.
Like, I remember my brother said he wanted to be a stand-up comedian or something. My mom was like, that ain't the move. You ain't that funny. Like, they have no problem telling you.
It may hurt.
Yeah. But they trying to protect you. Like, you ain't finna have us out here looking crazy with our last name. No, you're not.
That's the truth.
So they're, so when they actually do say, I'm proud of you, that means they mean it.
Chest got big and everything. Woo.
And don't that make it feel better?
Listen.
I remember, so I had woke up like at 24. This is my 24th birthday. Or was it 26? It's one of those birthdays where I woke up and I actually felt different. Like something was just different. And I knew something had to change. Because by this point, I was like partying every day except for like Tuesday. And I was working, but just working and paying and I knew this is just not what I want. I'm not happy. I'm not progressing in life. I'm just working and paying bills. And I don't want to be that person who just works and pays bills all the time. Like there has to be a greater purpose for me. And so, I was working in the healthcare industry and I hated it. Like, I don't like people that much to be, I really do think you have to be a talented individual.
It's a calling to be
and a calling to be in that. Like, that just wasn't for me. Like, you're not going to be talking to me crazy. I ain't that person. So, I ended up getting a job at this investment firm. And this was nothing but God because I have no experience in this field and industry whatsoever. And going in, I had to get this license. It's called a Series 7. Very, very difficult exam. To be able to work in the industry or do anything, there's a certain specific licenses you have to have. And I just remember like going through that was just trial for me. Like it was just an emotional roller coaster because it was so difficult. Like this book that I had to read and study was the size of 2 Bibles put together. And I only had a month to do it.
Oh.
So it was just a lot going on at that time. And my parents, they loved and supported me and all that stuff. And like when I came out of that, my parents were like, we're proud of you.
Hey, that's so good.
Ain't it?
I know it felt good.
And I felt like I was going to cry. I'm like, 'cause, I'm not a crier. I'm not emotional like that. But so for me to be emotionally moved, like you did something. And so, like, I just remember that moment, like coming out of there, like, we're proud of you. And I think that's kind of like what I've kind of lived my whole life is just to like make them proud in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially since I made so many mistakes when I was younger, like with
Right.
school, like I just felt like I had to make up for it somehow. Um,
No, I thought I had to. I thought I had to because
mhm.
when and it's only for my dad. Like this is, I think I still battle with this all day. Like I don't compare myself to anybody else. What I do to my father,
Me too.
I'd be like,
Me too. Well,
and
my parents, they were first generation, like my dad,
mm-hmm.
first generation to graduate from college.
Oh man,
And my dad, he's just this amazing, and my mom too, like they're just these amazing, amazing people. And I'm like, how am I gonna go from this
right?
to that?
I
Like I'm
can't
nothing like
I
this.
can't be I can't be the one to drop the ball. That's what I was, I was saying that for the longest. And then my mother said something to me one day, and this did make me cry. She said, "You have your own path." Like she's like, just why are you arguing and trying to defend yourself? You are Kevin Troy Daniels Jr., not senior.
Hmm.
And it didn't really hit me until it didn't hit me until after she said it, like weeks after she said it, where I was like, "You're right. I can literally just do me, the things that I'm good at, not what because everybody else, and not even my dad, everybody else expected me to be like him." And to hear him say, "I'm proud of you, of the man that you are and are becoming," was like, I mean, the heavens opened up. At that point in time, I was like, "Man, I can do anything."
Hmm.
I was like, "Man, I'm about to own $1 million business, $1 billion company." Like
Hmm.
it really just like gave me the strength and courage that I already had, but it just affirmed it. Like
Hmm.
you're doing something right. You're doing it right. Keep doing that, whatever that is.
Hmm.
Keep doing that, and I'm proud of that. And I was like, all right, this is messed up now. Look out,
Hmm.
world.
Yeah. And then too, like I think my parents, they just, and I think this is something they developed over time, but they just let me be. Like if I fail or I fumbled, oh, you gonna figure this one out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't bailing me out financially all the time. Um, or whatever, financial or, job wise, like they were letting me figure it out and they weren't judging me, which I
That's
really,
good.
really appreciate because that helped me be who I am now. Like I am
Mm-hmm.
so independent.
That's good.
You know what
That's
I'm
good.
saying? Which is great, except for when something's wrong with my car, then I'm like, I call my daddy. He is AAA. I'm like, Dad, something don't sound right with this. I need you to come out here and
See, it's not the car stuff; it's the household stuff.
oh yeah, for you.
Yeah, it's like, hey, man, hey, so the furnace wouldn't light at the house, and I was like, man, what's going on? This thing ain't working. He was like, YouTube it. I'm like,
Oh, that's what my dad says
I
too.
was
He
like,
like, there's so many resources
yo,
that
I
you
was hot.
YouTube
I
it.
was like, are you serious, bro? YouTube, bro, come over here. You ain't doing. You retired. You ain't doing nothing. Come over here and walk me through it. He was like, I'm good.
My dad, he
YouTube
was
it.
like, I'm too old for that. I'm not, my back, no.
I'm like, I wish. Man, I wish we had YouTube when you was trying to go through some stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
So
good.
let's transition into like romantic relationships.
Dum, dum, dum.
Mm.
Turn off the lights. Romantic relationships.
I think, for one, I think for me, I think I blame the church just a little bit.
That's fair.
Just from my personal perspective and
Mhm.
how I grew up. I was a church baby, right? And so I had so much pressure, like every single Sunday. So are you dating anyone?
Right.
Are you blah, blah, blah?
But then the thing is, if you was dating somebody, we need to see him. We don't, you know what
I
I mean? They'd have been,
know. They were putting, like, I just felt like this immense amount of pressure. And then, two, like, so for some of my young listeners, I think go into dating knowing what you want,
mm-hmm.
right? Understand what your boundaries are.
Yes.
Understand your values and do not waver on those. It's very important. And my parents, they've been married now 35 years. So I grew up in a in a very loving household. My parents loved each other. My dad displayed that. We
Mm-hmm.
even saw some of the arguments, which I think was healthy for us to see
That's good.
because we know, like, there's going to be ups and downs in relationships. I think the hard part for me, like my dad, he was literally like my first love.
That's good.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I compare everyone to my dad. My dad
That's
is
a good
so
thing.
smart. Um, he's just everything. Like he knows how to do everything. He can fix cars.
Right.
He can fix stuff in the house. Like that saved us so much money because we didn't have like a lot growing up. I don't even think I realized that we were kind of broke until I was like more like a teenager because
Right.
that's just how my parents were. My dad is just so full of wisdom and he knows how to cook. And if y'all know me, I love to eat everything that's good in this world. But anyway, and so I was comparing everyone to him. But I think the way the world is now,
Mm-hmm.
they make it seem as if women have to lower their standards. Not just women, men too.
True.
That if you want to get somebody, you have to be, you have to waver on this. And so I kind of fell into that a little bit when I was younger. And then finally, when I got a little older, like 27, 28, I'm like, nah, bump that.
I was there. I think I blame the church for my failed relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I blame the church for my failed relationships, not because I brought a new girl to church every week. Listen, after high school, I moved after college, moved to Denver, lived in Denver for a few years. And when I came back to Colorado Springs, I literally brought a new girl to church every week. And so people were like, they were supporting me in a way. Oh, she's so nice, Kevin. We like her. Oh, she's so nice and we so like her, and eventually I was just like, man, is somebody ain't nobody saying, Kev, what are you doing? Like, this is not a good look. You know what I mean?
No one said nothing.
No one said anything.
But they gonna talk about you though.
And that's what they did. That's what they did. And it literally talk about me to the extent of, girl, don't talk to Pastor Son. Don't talk to Junior.
He wanted them.
Hey, listen. Like, all of this stuff. And so it harmed me in the sense of I didn't know how to be committed at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to be committed at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side of it was not only did I know how to be committed, but because I spent so much of my time with somebody, I didn't know how to be by myself.
That is so important. I was actually just getting ready to say that.
I didn't know how to be I didn't know what it was like to just enjoy Kevin, myself, to take myself out on a date, to just be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that felt like. And I attribute some of that blame to the church, even though I shouldn't, but I do, because people will talk and say whatever they say, but they won't tell you anything that's going to help you.
Part of the reason why I have this podcast anyway.
There you go.
But that is so important. If you find yourself in a situation where you're not happy being by yourself and you can't be by yourself, you always have to have somebody, something's wrong.
Yes, something's definitely wrong.
And you need to dig down and figure out what's going on. And the thing is when you want to be in a successful marriage, and we all want to have somebody that we grow old with, right? You have to let God prepare you for that. My parents have this successful marriage, but my mom, she's someone that I strive to be like. Because, I'm serious. The stuff that she does, I'm like, I'm tired. How are you doing all this? Like, the house is immaculate at all times. She not only took care of us, but she took care of my dad.
Amen. Listen.
And
hope somebody listens.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, there's just so much that I had to learn.
Right. And
so the same way we don't want God to send us no mess, God ain't gonna send them no mess either. Right. You need to make sure that you're ready.
That was one thing. And everybody's got that list. Like I've heard women say it, he needs to be tall, dark, handsome, make me laugh, good job, his own car, his own place. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But then I dated somebody who had none of those things that they were asking me to have.
Right.
I was like, so
You can't ask for someone kind and you're ugly on the inside.
I was like, so I'm just, what am I doing? Like, this is, and then over time, I recognized what I desire in my relationship, So romantically, I really had to ask God to prepare. Before I met my wife, I was in a terrible relationship. It was just toxic. We argued all the time. We wasn't doing nothing. I was literally I was bumming it.
Mm-hmm.
We were bumming it together, and I just said, God, this isn't right. I need you to give me an exit strategy some kind of way. This is literally the prayer I had. I was like, give me an exit strategy. I need to get out of this, and then I need you to prepare me for who I'm going to marry, because the next girl I'm with is not going to be a girlfriend or somebody I'm dating. I need you to prepare me for the woman that I'm going to marry. And this is the most grueling process I've ever been through. And I urge anybody, if you want to get married and you want to you really, really want to meet an amazing person, pray this prayer. Pray this prayer like, God, break me and make me ready for the woman that I'm going to be with the rest of my life. The woman that you send to me, and when I tell you, I never felt more alone in that time period after that prayer than I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Because my friends weren't helping me out in any kind of way, because they weren't thinking, let's prepare myself for marriage. They were thinking, let's get out and have fun. So friends weren't there. Things were getting bad on the job. And God has a sense of humor, because during that time, I'm talking every girl I knew in my past, blew up my phone at some point in time. Like, hey, Kev, I see you out here doing something.
And it's amazing how the devil, he knows you're lonely. He knows this, because people act like, there's God, but there's no. The devil is listening to your prayer. He can hear you too.
Oh man!
And he's going to send you those temptations as soon as you start, especially when you start to get comfortable in yourself.
Yes.
Then that's when because that has happened to me, where I'll be comfortable and then I'm getting all these text messages from what is this?
Hey, I miss you.
Oh, all right.
You miss.
But the thing is when you really get into that prayer and you stick to it, you stay in prayer, guarded in prayer. And you really trust God for that. I forgot the point I was trying to make. Okay. But all these things are going to come towards you,
They are.
and it is. But the thing is that when you do that, you get so much more confident. Because I'm not married now, but I'm not even finna go on no date with you if you don't have certain criteria in mind.
Yes.
Because it's not about just what a man looks like or about what he has, but it's about his heart.
Right.
It's about his heart. I've seen, my mom, she went through this period where she was really sick. And it was a difficult time for all of us. She was sick for a while. We're talking 3 months. My dad, he was so faithful to her. He took care of her. He loved her. He was so soft and tender with her. I'm like, his heart.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And it's not, and it belongs to God. You know what I'm saying? A man after God's heart.
Right.
And I looked at that and I'm like, that's what I want. And I'm like, if there's a man who can't deliver on these things, for one, if your heart doesn't belong to the Lord, you ain't for me.
Not gonna work.
Because, the Bible talks about being unequally yoked. And I would recommend all my listeners, to go and check out that scripture.
Please do.
But if you're not even there, we can't have a conversation. If you're not loving, you're not kind, you're not thoughtful, because for me, I'm an alpha female. I wouldn't say I'm difficult to love per se. But, I have certain standards and certain things that I expect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you get to a point where now I'm not even going to tolerate it. What are we talking for?
Not even entertain it. Yeah. I think it's a good thing, because, and I say this as a man to women. So any woman, women listeners, you need to be able to, like you said, secure that bag on your own. And do anything you would ever need from a man. You should be able to have it on your own. And the joy of meeting somebody who loves you the way you are, who cares about you so much. And like I said, I've only got 9 months of experience in this, is that my wife doesn't have to worry about anything from where she sleeps, what she eats, what she wears. She doesn't have to worry about it. But if anything ever happened to me, my wife has got me covered.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has got me covered. And I appreciate that from somebody who I'm a workaholic. Like I'm about that grind life. And I feel like you want somebody who's like, yo, let's hustle together. Let's get this together. And a friend, like somebody you can talk to, share your deepest secrets, pray with every morning, like literally just somebody is a friend. Somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
a friend. I urge any woman who's even thinking about a relationship, don't get the guy, like the guy who, and I used to be this guy, the guy who just looks awesome and everybody likes is probably the guy that's going to hurt you the most because
Mm-hmm.
everybody likes him.
He has the deepest issues.
Everybody likes him. And I
Mhm.
mean, Kevin. That that only went so far in my single dating life because there was nothing intimate, there was no deep connection. It was literally everything at face value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not nothing that you want to build a strong foundation on. Not to mention if you love the Lord and you know that God has called you to a holy and a blessed marriage, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, they need to be sold out. I mean, sold out because there's nothing worse than you pursuing God and this person is not, and then you trying to drag them along to something that
Mm-hmm.
they're just not
Mm-hmm.
interested in or not, they think it's just not, that's the worst thing to do. And you cause yourself so much hurt and pain trying to do that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, find know who you are and whose you are, and
Mm-hmm.
then find somebody who knows the same exact things
Mm-hmm.
about themselves. Like
Yep.
those first few dates, me and my wife now, we didn't date. I literally went to kind of like a courtship
Mm-hmm.
where we interacted as his friends, no intention of being together. I knew that she was interested. She knew that I was interested, but like I said, we just maintained friends in a public setting. So it wasn't never just the two of us dating until we just had one conversation. I said, "Hey, listen, I really like you. I adore you in a sense. Like I'm watching you, and
Mm-hmm.
what I see is like a beautiful."
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her clear as day. I said, "Hey, I don't want a girlfriend. I want to be intentional about being with you because I want to marry you." And I knew that day one. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Cool."
It's
And
amazing how
talk to my
people
dad.
always say they know. Like as soon as they meet, like
Listen,
you already know.
listen.
It's just a matter of when.
When I tell you, I walked into the church and she was singing praise and worship, and that I kid you not. I tell people all the time, like I knew from the moment I walked in the church, I was late to church.
Mm-hmm.
That is gonna be my wife, and she'll say it now. She was like, I don't know who that is, but her parents knew that we were gonna get married. Like they did not know my name or anything. We all just everybody
Right.
in the church knew.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're about to get married, and I think it was because we both were in a place where we're like, God, we want you to prepare us for that individual. And I tell my guy friends, fellas, you go out and you find the woman you want to be. Now there's a level of cultivating that comes with meeting your wife, because I think every man, the way the scripture says, a helpmate comes along. But if you don't know what you need help with, how can you tell her how I need you to help me? I knew for a fact I need somebody to keep me humble.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my wife, hey, I need you to be here and I need you to keep both of my feet flat on the ground, because God is taking me places and he's calling me to things. And those things are where many distractions can, I need you to keep me humble, keep me
Mm-hmm.
grounded. And that's what she's been. That's what she's been for me since day one. She's a humble, sweet soul herself. And so to know that when I saw her, I mean, y'all, I can't even tell you, like
Oh.
the moment
Mm-hmm.
I saw her, I knew like everything completely changed. Like I told friends, yeah, I can't, bro. I'm sorry. I'm good because I knew, like
You
I
like,
just
I gotta get home. I
no
gotta
no
go.
lie, no lie. Listen, I was telling my friends, they're like, hey, bro, we going out, man. It's Friday night. What we doing? I said, I can't, man. I got to go home because I just can't be out in the streets right now. Like, what if somebody see me and for some odd reason I ain't got to be doing nothing bad?
Mm-hmm.
What if they see me?
Mm-hmm. It's perception.
What if they
Perception
see
is
me?
reality.
I said, bro, listen, man, this is my wife, bro. And I was saying this, and we hadn't even had a conversation. Like for 4 months of going to the church, me and my wife did not speak. I didn't talk to her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Her family invited me over for dinner. She invited me to like praise and worship, like organizational meetings and dinners and stuff. And I was like, I'm cool. I'll be there. Never showed up. I was like, no, Lord, until I am like right and ready, I will not speak to her at all. And this was like I was intentional about it.
And that's how much you value that person.
Oh man.
It's
I
like,
knew,
you know what? I want to be my best self for this person. So, young people, I just think when it comes to relationships, don't rush into anything. Take some time, understand who you are, what God made you here to be. Go after that stuff. Be your best self that you can possibly be. And then when the time is right, just let God prepare you for that person. And don't just pray for them, like, God, send me something. Father, show me me.
Yes.
Like, show me what I need to work on.
Yes.
Because there's some things about myself, like, I know I can be so impatient. That's something I need to work on before I even get into the relationship, because I'm not very patient. Like, I'm very, like, when I want something, like, it needs to go.
Right.
And if you're part of holding up the process, you're subject to feel this wrath.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, God, show me me and what I need to work on. And then, Father, heal me from all of any past hurts.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because all that stuff you can't take into a relationship.
And we do.
And even friendships.
Yes.
Like, just in general.
We
like,
do.
you cannot move forward into these other relationships that we pursue with other people in our lives, and when we still have all this baggage that we haven't healed from. And then pray for the other person, whoever he or she is out there. Father, I ask that you just help them heal from any past hurts, because you want them to bring the best version of themselves.
Exactly.
Because I really think that marriage is hard enough.
Oh, it is.
Like,
it is.
It's difficult. And for you to be bringing all these bags, ain't nobody got time.
Yeah.
We got other stuff to work on.
I think another prayer is, especially when we're talking about relationships, is God, help me to be able to reveal to this person the secrets that I don't want them to know about. Because when there were things that I did not want. Like, I was, listen, I'm gonna get married, but I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna talk about this thing that happened. But you have to. You have to, because if you value that person and love them enough, you will give them the choice to say no to you, and to I'm good. I don't want that in my life. And that's when you've met somebody that is just amazing, because they're willing to share with me something that literally could make this whole thing be done, to make this whole thing just not work. Like, they're willing to share with me that deep secret, that something that's like, you ain't telling nobody. You need to be able to do that. And then, not to mention, for men, you need to pray to God and ask him to show you how to love. How to love. Because men, we operate out of respect. Like, I can get in a fight with my best friend and I respect him after it's all done. And we cool because of respect. But when it comes to just the way the word says, husband, love your wives, as Christ loved the church. And women ought to respect their husbands, because women love easy. Men respect easily, but we don't love easily. Like, I love my mom, but me and my dad, I respect my dad. It's the craziest piece. Like, I respect my dad, but I love my mom. And that's the way I would say it. But men, learn how to love your spouse, your girlfriend, whoever it is that you're want to date. Ask God to show you how to love. And then women, how to respect your husband, because it's going to come in time when he may get fired from his job and not bring in any money. And most women would just stop, like, I don't respect him anymore because he ain't working.
He ain't got no job.
Right?
What?
That's the way, that's the way it'll be.
Yeah.
And even for men, your wife will get pregnant and, gain weight, and you'll stop loving your wife, but you respect her because she's the mother of your kids. But that's not the way it works. You need to know how to love and how to respect one another the way the Bible intended for it. And I think those are some keys to a healthy, successful, marriage and relationship in general.
Jeez, we been talking about this all day.
You sure enough can.
I know, huh? It's good.
Sure enough can.
Ooh.
Stay off of blackpeoplemeet.com, though.
Please do. And POF and...
just all of them. If it comes in an app form, listen, if it comes in app form where you got to sign up, stay off of it.
Okay, because that's not the move. So let's transition into now. So what I'll say, because, I think some people get so worried about what they haven't accomplished and what they haven't done. God has a path for each of us to walk, right? And the way that other people are moving or whatever, it may not be for you.
Right.
Because sometimes we look at what other people have,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know what they did to get there. There's people who have these really nice cars that I realize, because I always didn't have the best car. And, I'm not a car person, whatever, but they'll go home and live in a shack, but I got a really nice house. Like,
You see the glory,
priorities,
don't
you
know
know what
the
I'm
story,
saying?
right?
Like, so don't let what other people are doing or sidetrack you. I'll say, like, going into my 30s, I felt pressure, but all that is subsided now. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm moving at the pace I'm supposed to be. I am literally the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. And that's not having a spouse or anything. Like, with my career, with what I'm doing now with this podcast, with my family and my relationships, like, everything is as it's supposed to be.
That's good.
Which I'm so thankful and grateful for. So there's so much to look forward to in your 30s because, for one, you've learned all the hard lessons in your
Yes.
20s. You've gone through the worst of it. So then by the time you get to 30, like, you can actually take some time and reflect. And what I'll say is to like, take some time and smell the roses. Like, I do think, for me, I'm such a workaholic. Like, I'm trying to get things done that I forget to, like, stop and just be thankful for how far I have come.
Right.
As well. There was a period of time I wasn't taking vacations. I would just work. None of that. And so finally I've gotten to a point, like, probably within the last year, like, I bump that. I'm going to go and just enjoy life and just be
Every 3
thankful
months.
for where I've gotten so
Right.
far. Because, sometimes we feel like we're not enough and we haven't done enough and we're not where we're supposed to be. And so we're overdoing things. You have to take some time to smell the roses sometimes.
I would say, man, just like figure out a way to, have an outlet. One, I think that's the number one thing. Have an outlet, because the pressure of the early 20s, it does go away when you get, approaching 30. Because for me now, it wasn't the fact that I'd done all of what all the crazy stuff I wanted to get into. It was, I just started realizing what was valuable. What was valuable to me. And I had to learn the hard way of just, make everything count. You got to live for legacy, live for the next generation, live for tomorrow, not today. And then the truth be told, trust God and let him worry about the details. Because if you get boggled down in the details, you'll stress yourself out even more. Just trust God, let him worry about the details. If it's yours, you're going to get it.
Exactly.
If it's yours, you're going to get it. Like, it will happen if it's yours. All you got to do is trust God. And so that's what I would say for anybody who, who's listening, who's under the age of 25, even if you're over the age of 25 and you're still trying to figure it out. Trust God.
It's never too late.
Yeah, trust God and let him worry about the details. All you got to do is just do your part. Do your part, and that's just be committed, be faithful, be trustworthy. Be yourself trustworthy. And live life. Enjoy all the years that you have. Enjoy every second. Travel every 3 months. Take that PTO. It's saved up. You got it.
Exactly. So the time we're over time,
We are.
but
I think it was a good show.
It definitely was. Just to wrap up, like, what we talked about and recap, I think the main thing that I'd like, my listeners to go away with is, wherever you're at, get control of that, right? Take some time and understand what's important to you, what your values are. Don't be influenced by what other people's definitions of success are in your life. You have to take some time and discover that. It can't be your parents, your siblings, your friends, people in church, or whoever you associate with. It has to be your own. You need to dig down in prayer. I would say, let God prepare you for relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but friendships.
Right.
Let God prepare you for things that are to come. Don't be trying to rush and jump into, like, all these crazy relationships. There's no reason for you to go through that if you're doing this.
Right.
So I would say take some time and just dig down in prayer and understand what that is. What do you got?
I would say to the finances bit, yo.
Oh yeah.
Early on, like right now, set yourself up. Set yourself up right now. If you can save and be wise. Be a good steward of every cent, every penny you have.
Make a budget, y'all,
Yes.
and stick to that.
Yes. Live beneath. your means. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And we'll
Um,
talk a little bit more next week
oh yeah,
about finances. But yeah, absolutely.
yes. Save, save,
Hmm.
save. Invest if you can. I mean, all of that stuff. It pays off later on in life.
Hmm.
And we don't think about it now because we're trying to get by, consume, but set something aside for a
Hmm.
rainy day.
Yeah, and if you don't know, look it up, y'all. There's so many resources online. Google it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Financial Peace University. They have free resources there,
Yes.
budgeting tools, like all kinds of
Dave
stuff. Like
Ramsey,
it's
all that.
very important. You don't want to live life struggling if you don't have to. Like we all go through the struggle sometimes, but if you don't have to and it's self-inflicted, then why do it?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We weren't meant to. We weren't meant to live like
yeah,
paycheck to
we
paycheck.
weren't. That sucks.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of my listeners and all of you guys for checking out and listening to what we have to say here. Please go follow my boy Kevin Daniels. Where?
Yes. Instagram, Kevin Daniels, JR_. Follow me. Check me out. Just be looking. Be looking. I'll probably be on a TV screen at some point.
Mm-hmm. He's out here doing big things. So follow him. Make sure you support whatever it is he's doing.
Just ministry, man. I want everybody to live, be, and move in the fullest of God. So
absolutely. And then also just make sure that you guys like, subscribe, leave comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys say. I actually read them. So, you don't have to worry about if it's going on deaf ears or not, because I actually value what you guys say and what your opinions are. Also, check out the website if you'd like to become a guest or become a sponsor of the show. backandforthtv.com is where you'll go for that. And if they become a sponsor, become a guest page, just fill out the form and we'll get back to you in a couple days or so.
And share.
Yes,
share.
and share. Let all your friends and all your people know.
This thing's going viral. Jump on the train now. Jump on the train now.
So yeah, just make sure you do that. Also, we'll have some unique events coming up. We're going to be doing some movie and book reviews and stuff like that. So make sure you check out Facebook, my Facebook page at Back and Forth TV, or go on the website under events and you can see what I'm doing and how to engage with me. So as we do every week, I just wanted to close with a really quick scripture that I want you guys to really read and meditate on. And so this one is coming from 1 Chronicles 13:10-11. And that says, "But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." Which I think is very befitting for the episode because we all have to grow up.
Got to
grow up. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for coming, and we will catch you next week.
Peace.